Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we wanted to look at the second of the Sapta Rishis. So we wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Krishna, Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Gaunitai, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and also the assembled devotees, so that we can try to understand the wonderful Rishis that we have in our Sanatana Dharma, some amazing Rishis. So today is Bharadvaja Rishi. And this is an interesting picture of Bharadvaja Rishi sitting on a deer skin. His full name in Vedic texts is Bharadvaj Barhaspatya, the last name referring to his father, the spiritual master of the Devas, Brihaspati. So Brihaspati, very important character or saint in Vedic tradition, is actually the spiritual master of the demigods. So very powerful position that he holds. And the spiritual master of the demons, the Asuras, is Sukracharya. And they're both interesting personalities. But Brihaspati, of course, has got a more prominent position because he's a spiritual master of the Devatas. So he's the father of Bharadvaj. His mother was Mamata. Because Bharadvaj was delivered by the Marut demigods. So that's, this rings a bell actually, Marut demigods. Anyway, in the Bhagavad Purana, he is named as Vithata. Oh yeah, so there is this pastime. The 49 Maruts, I think is that right? 49 Maruts. Anyway, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, this description is given. He is one of the 7 Rishis, the Sapta Rishis, mentioned 4 times in the Rig Vedas, as well as in the Shatapatha Brahmana. Thereafter revered in the Mahabharata and the Puranas. In the Ramayana, he is famously known as the personal Rishi of Sri Ram, Sita, and Lakshman. So he had a very exalted relationship with Lord Ramachandra. He spent time with them during their exile. And like the sage Vashishta, there are many pastimes which depict Ram and his associates in the forest at the hermitage of Bharadvaja. While the trio met many sages and rishis in the forest, including Agastya and Gautam, they rested at Bharadvaja's ashram when they were crossing the river Prayag. At his hermitage, they accepted Bharadvaja's offerings given by him in recognition of Ram's identity as God. So we can see Bharadvaja was such an important personality. Lord Ramachandra, Sita Mata, and Lakshman would spend time with him. They also spent time with Agastya Muni, Gautam Rishi, many other saints, but they would stay with Bharadvaja. Very interesting. He was very close to their heart and they were close to his heart. So he's one of the Sapta Rishis in the present Manvantara, Vavasvata Manu. Bharadvaj Bahaspatya is the progenitor of the Bharadvaj family, who are attributed with composing the 6th mandala of the Rig Vedas. There's many mandalas, and these mandalas of the Rig Vedas are very, very difficult to compose. You've got to get it right. So this family, Bharadvaj, was expert in composing these Sanskrit verses for the Rig Vedas. One little mistake and it throws the whole mantra, whole book out actually. So it's very powerful personalities. Mandal 6 is also known as Bharadvaj family book because all 75 of its hymns are composed by members of this great family over several centuries. Bharadvaj Rishi is said to be a contemporary of King Bharat. There are several King Bharats, and I'm not quite sure which one this refers to. I suspect it is Lord Rishabdev's son, Bharat Maharaj. Maharishi Bharadvaj and his descendants served as a highly respected rishis and priests of several dynasties of the Puru tribe, including the Bharatas and the Panchals. So Panchal, this is the father of Drupad. Yeah. Bharadvaj is also famously known as the father of Dronacharya and the grandfather, of course, of Ashwatthama, as stated in the Mahabharata. Bharadvaj Rishi was himself the son of Dev Rishi Baraspati, who was the son of Rishi Angiras. These three great rishis are known as the Traya Rishis, or the three rishis of Bharadvaj Gotra, the largest and one of the most prominent Gotras. So we were talking about Gotras in the beginning of this series, how there are certain sages who are give rise to these Gotras, and one of them is Bharadvaj. So our spiritual master, actually, his Gotra is this very Gotra, and we accept that same Gotra as ours, because we're not sure what our Gotra is. So it is acceptable to accept the Gotra of the spiritual master with his permission as your own. So he allowed us. So that's where we are. Bharadvaj became married to Shushila and had a son called Garga, and was also the husband of the Apsara, Gritachi. It was Gritachi with whom he fathered Dronacharya. Drona was born when Bharadvaj ejaculated his semen in a pot. So he had a very special birth, Dronacharya. Bharadvaj is therefore directly linked to two important characters of the epic Mahabharata. That's Dronacharya, and that's his son, and then his grandson, Ashwatthama, who was the son of Dronacharya. And interestingly, although Ashwatthama played quite a wicked role actually in Mahabharata, especially towards the end of the Mahabharata, when he killed the 5 sons of Draupadi and attempted to kill the grandson of Arjun, Parikshit Maharaj, in the womb of his mother. But he was unsuccessful and he was given punishment. But interestingly, I'm not quite sure how this comes about, but in the next Manvantara, Ashwatthama becomes one of the Saptarishis. So it shows that even one may not behave very well in one life, but there is always chance of redemption. Now, Ashwatthama's acts were very, very cruel, nasty actually, very nasty. But yet, he becomes a Saptarishi in his next life. So there is always chance for redemption. This is one of the most amazing things about Sanatana Dharma. Nobody is eternally condemned. Yes, we do something silly, then there'll be a price to pay. That's karma. But it doesn't mean eternally that you have to suffer eternally. You can change the consciousness, change our activities. According to the Mahabharata, Bharadvaj trained Drona in the use of weapons. So these rishis were expert in everything, and especially the Sapta Rishis. They were expert in scripture, poetry, worship, but also the art of fighting and weapons. So Bharadvaja trained Dronacharya in the use of weapons. And then we know later on, Dronacharya became the military guru of the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Bharadvaja had two disciples, Agnivesh and Draupad. So that's quite interesting. This is so there was an interesting situation that took place between Draupad and Dronacharya. They were in the same school. So Dronacharya was being trained by his father, and Draupad was being trained by his guru, one and the same, Bharadvaja. So Draupad and Dronacharya became great friends. But Draupad was a king, son of a king. And they became such great friends that Draupad said to Dronacharya, whatever is mine is also yours. So later on, Dronacharya, he was very, very poor, extremely poor. A Brahmin is generally poor. He was very, very poor. So one day he went to the capital, to the land of Panchal to meet with Draupad, because he remembered Draupad's word, whatever is mine is yours. But at that time, when Draupad entered the kingdom of, Dronacharya entered the kingdom of Draupad, Draupad denied knowing him. And Dronacharya said, we were good friends in the school of my father, Bharadvaja. Don't you remember? And Draupad said, no, I can't remember you, dirty Brahmin. Who are you? Never seen you before. Dronacharya reminded him, remember, we were so close. You said everything that belongs to me belongs to you. And Draupad insulted Dronacharya, insulted him so badly that Dronacharya wanted to seek revenge. Now, a Brahmin to seek revenge is very unusual. Usually the Brahmins are very forgiving, but he was so offended. Eventually, Dronacharya trained the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And when they said to him, you have trained us so nicely, what Guru Dakshina can we give you? Draupad said, yes, go and capture Dronacharya. Dronacharya said, go and capture Draupad. That's my Guru Dakshina. Yes, Nariman?
Yes, Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Was Draupad a Kshatriya? King.
Sorry?
Was he a Kshatriya?
Yes, he was a Kshatriya.
Yeah, being a king. Okay.
Being a king. That's correct. That's correct. And and Dronacharya was a Brahmin by birth. And by behavior as well. He was a phenomenal personality. So that incident, then the Pandavas, they captured Draupad, they captured him and they gave him as Guru Dakshina to Dronacharya. And Dronacharya, what did he do? He said, I let you go, Draupad, and you can have half the kingdom. Just like you should have given me half the kingdom. And of course, that instilled a great anger or jealousy in Draupad, and he did a yagya. He called upon a personality to kill Dronacharya. And of course, that person was born from the fire, the yagya, Drastadumna. Another personality who came from that yagya was Draupadi, who married the Pandavas. So it's very interconnected, these pastimes. Agnivesh taught Drona, the master of weapon, Agniya, while Draupad became the king of Panchal kingdom. So very interesting. And then later on, we saw in the Mahabharata how Dronacharya was defeated by Drastadumna. In fact, we heard last time we talked about the Sapta Rishis, we were talking about Atri Rishi, how Atri Rishi, together with 7 or 6 other sages, came to the battle of Mahabharata. And they pleaded with Dronacharya, you have killed so many warriors. Now you should stop. Your son has died. Now you should stop and think about the absolute truth. They reminded him. It was like a slap in the face. Wake up. Stop this fighting business. Stop being so regretful that your son has died. Don't you understand? You are a spirit soul. You have to connect with the supreme spirit soul. This is your moment. Sit down in meditation and stop everything. And he did, to his credit. He stopped. He put all his weapons down. He's focused on the Supreme Lord. And at that time, Dassadumna came, chopped his head off. But he was already in the spiritual world because he was self-realized soul. He had forgotten, because of the intensity of the war, he had forgotten to detach himself away from the happenings of the war. But then he was reminded by Atri Rishi, one of the Sapta Rishis. So this is what the Sapta Rishis do. They come and they guide humanity. They guide certain personalities. They protect humanity. When there's mass destruction going on, they come and they stop that. Or they attempt to stop that. They're very powerful in the governance of the universe. With Shushila, he fathered a daughter, Deva Vamini Yagyavaikya, the half-sister of Dronacharya. Deva Vamini became the second wife of Yagyavaikya Katyayani, who authored the Satapatha Brahman. Bharadvaja was an accomplished grammarian, can't pronounce that properly. Brahma taught grammar to Brihaspati. So the first created living being taught to the spiritual master of the demigods, grammar. Who taught it to Indra? Who taught it to Bharadvaja? Bharadvaja Rishi was a disciple of Gautam Rishi. So we saw in the Ramayana, Ramachandra would visit Gautam Rishi, but still he would stay at the ashram of Bharadvaja. But Gautam Rishi was the spiritual master of Bharadvaja. So very interesting. And Gautam Rishi is also one of the Sapta Rishis. So he was a disciple of Gautam Rishi. He was also a disciple of Valmiki, another great Muni. He was first-hand witness to the incident of the Grauncha birds, at which time Valmiki uttered the first shloka of the Ramayana. So this was a phenomenal experience. Valmiki didn't know that he knew poetry, but he saw the slaughter of the birds and he spoke out harsh words, but actually they were very rhythmic. At that time, I think Lord Brahma or Narad Muni came and said to him, your duty is to write the Ramayana. And the whole Ramayana was given to him at that time. So Bharadvaja also appears in Buddhism, in the Buddhist Vanaya Pitaka of the Mahavagga 1-245. The Buddha pays respects to Bharadvaja by declaring that the Ved, in its true form, was dedicated to the Vedic Rishis. Atako, Vamako, Vamadevo, Vashemito, Yama, Darki, Angiras Bharadvaj, there is Vasheto, Kashyap, and Bhagu. And that because the true Ved was altered by some priests, he refused to pay homage to it. Now, the history of Lord Buddha is none different from Lord Krishna himself. But after Lord Krishna left, the Brahmins, they manipulated the Vedic customs and the texts so that they could do animal sacrifice and enjoy the flesh of animals. And they used the Vedas as a justification for that. So the Lord appeared as Buddha and he instructed that the Vedic sacrifice, this animal slaughter in the name of Vedic sacrifice is incorrect. So he stopped the Vedas from being prominent, but he never denied the existence of God, because he's God himself. Why would he deny the existence of God? So the great Maharishi Bharadvaja's contribution to ancient Bharatiya literature, mainly in the Puranas and the Rig Vedas, played a significant role in giving an insight to Bharatiya society, along with the theories on medicine and Ayurveda. Besides making immense contributions to economics and literature, Rishi Bharadvaja was also a well-known physician who finds mention in the Charaka Samhita, a treatise on medicine. So there's two treatises on medicine. One is Ayurveda and the other is this Charaka Samhita. Ayurveda is very much in terms of the natural process of curing one through herbs and plants. But there's this Charaka Samhita, which is about surgery. This focuses on a different aspect of healthcare through surgery. So he's given mention in this Samhita. Some treatises named after him or attributed to him are Dhanurved. So Dhanurved is art of weaponry. It's credited to Bharadvaj in chapter 12, 203 of the Mahabharata. Bharadvaj Samhita, a Pancharatra text, or Agama text of Vaishnavism. Bharadvaj Shutra and Griha Shutra. Sections in Ayurveda, Bharadvaj's theories on medicine and causal phenomena is described in Chakra Samhita. Bharadvaj is credited with many theories and practical ideas in ancient Indian medicine. Niti Shastra, a treatise on ethics and practical conduct. Bharadvaj Shiksha is one of the many ancient Sanskrit treatises on phonetics. So this is a very nice depiction of Sita Ram, Lakshman with at the hermitage of Bharadvaj Rishi. Very simple. They have long lives. They have immense strength, immense knowledge, but they live very simply, knowing that this world is temporary, even though they live for 308 million years. Okay, wanted to stop there. Any questions, any comments, please? Yes, Prabhabin.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, these characters are
really enjoyed it. I mean, when you was talking about the Bharadvaj, Rishi, and then there was Dropada and Drochanya, and then they were school friends, and then when they went to meet, and then he said, "I don't know you." It's so interesting. I mean, I really enjoyed the whole of the article. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for encouragement.
Yeah, very
Thank
nice.
you for participating.
Thank you. I mean, I missed yesterday. I don't know what you did yesterday. Was it any Rishi or was it doing something
No,
else?
we didn't do a Rishi. We did the Brahma Samhita, yeah, the different verses from the Brahma
This
Samhita.
one. Is it the one which you practice all the time?
Yes, that's it.
That one I really wanted to go in, but I went out, so I missed it. You know, when somebody's saying, then you tell everybody to speak.
It's
so
good.
It's the pronunciation. We do it again, which is
Yeah.
very nice. But never mind. You only do it Sunday, isn't it?
That one is Sunday, yeah.
Sunday, yeah. Next time I make sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Bharadvaj ki.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Karuna?
Yeah, I just was wondering whether the Garga, the son of Bharadvaj, is Garga Muni the same as the one naming Krishna?
It's funny, I was thinking the same. I wonder if it's the same. I was going to ask you. No, I'm not sure. I think it probably is, but let's just let's consult the guru, who is, of course, Google. Yeah, that's right. Gargamuni. Indeed. That is the same. One and the same. So Dronacharya and Gargamuni. So that means they were half brothers. Wow. Interesting. Very good. Very interesting. Oh, is that okay, Karuna?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Just wanted to share. My Pitaji, his Gotra is Garga Gotra.
Oh, Gaga Gotra. Really?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Very good. So that means that's yours as well. Oh, usually the father
No, when I am married, then my Gotra
changes.
changes
Yeah.
to that
Right.
level.
Right. And does he know his?
Yeah, we are Vashishta Gotra.
Oh, Vashish. Wow. Very good. So we'll come to Vashish. He's amazing, actually. Yeah. One of the most amazing, prominent personalities. Nani Ben, we can't hear you. Oh, we can see you. We can't hear you. You can just type if you like. Type it in. Yeah, so tomorrow we shall talk about Gautam Rishi. And Gautam Rishi is actually the spiritual master of Bharadvaja. So that's interesting as well. Significance of Sapta Rishis in the present age. Good question. In this age, we sort of tend to struggle seeing these great personalities. Even in previous ages, Narad Muni was very clearly visible to the personalities. He would come and visit. And in this age, Narad Muni has come and visited. He's visited Prabhupada a couple of times when he was giving lecture. But generally, these people, these great souls, we are a little too fallen to actually notice them or realize them. But the significance of Sapta Rishis in this age is they are there to guide and somewhat protect humanity. That's one of their functions. Let me just bring up something if I can find it. Okay. So Saptarishis, the 7 saints were assigned to be present through the 4 great ages to direct humanity. So, for example, when some huge destruction is going to take place, like when Dronacharya was in the Battle of Mahabharata, he was really going wild, to destroy the Pandavas' armies. So that time, Atri Rishi and a few other sages came into the battlefield to stop Dronacharya, to make him realize what he's doing is wrong. So they come, they direct humanity. These Saptarishis, they hold huge power. They can defeat any weapon. So any weapon of mass destruction, they would be able to neutralize it. They can forecast the longer term. They're not influenced by the cycle of birth and death. So effectively, what their main purpose is to give guidance to Brahma, to the demigods, to humanity, to us, direct us and give us some protection, because they're extremely powerful. They're more powerful than any Kshatriya. They're more powerful than Brahma. They're more powerful than any known weapon. So their role is basically to keep the peace, keep harmony, make sure make sure we don't go crazy. Their purpose is like that. And they stay. Let's just quickly go through. They have their stars. It's called what is it called? The Big Dipper or something like that. Let me just see if I can find it. Yeah, they live near the Dhruvlok, and there it is. This is the stars that are attributed to them. The Big Dipper. which is called part of the Usha Major's constellation. So they have a presence in this universe, and they can travel at will. They're very, very powerful, given immense power. So, and every manvantara, they change. So every 308 years is a new set of Sapta Rishis. So I hope that answers the question. We can't hear you, but
Yes. Can you hear me now?
oh, now we can hear you. Yes, yes, yes.
I think something, my microphone was loose. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
What I meant was now in this present day means in this Kali Yuga, because all this with the Mahabharat war and it all happened ages ago. I know apart from the Gotra giving, they are the sort of the protector of the humanity and guiding, but what do they do at the present stage? I know they're still alive in each of the stars there, isn't it?
Yeah, they are.
There.
And if they saw that humanity was, pressing that self-destruct button, they would come. They would come and they would stop the nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Jayanti saying they're probably meditating and she's going to spend some time with them in Bharat. For the benefit of mankind. Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sitaram.
I think you are right, Prabhu. I missed some words.
Sure.
Sorry.
No.
Hare,
Thank you so much.
okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Bharadvaja ki jai, Saptarishis ki jai. So let me stop this.